So in this task for exploratory data analysis of terrorism, we need to perform exploratory data analysis on dataset global terrorism. As a security or defense analyst, we need to find out the hot zone of terrorism, what all security issues and insights that we can derive by EDA, exploratory data analysis. So here we are going to import the necessary libraries from the packages, and as shown in the code here, and in the next we are going to load and read the global terrorism dataset from the CSV global terrorism.csv, and we are going to display the first 5 rows of the dataset. It has 5 rows and 135 columns. So we are displaying the column names over here using data.columns.values. Next we are renaming the column names of the datasets over here, and here we are displaying the value types of the dataset. In the next step we are displaying the first 5 rows of the dataset. So here we are displaying the first 5 rows with all the details, and in the next we are displaying the number of rows and columns using a data.shape. So there are 1,81,691 rows and 18 columns, and in here we are checking if the number has null values in each category, and if there is any null values, values are there. And here we are filling not applicable values for the wounded and killed, and we are counting the number of casualties, which is killed plus wounded, and we are displaying the details about the dataset using data.info, which is displayed over here, and data.describe describes the details of the dataset, which is the count, means, standard deviation, minimum, etc. So here we are displaying the unique years, and we are doing this calculation to find out the attacks in the year. So the number of attacks is displayed in the y-axis, and attacking year is in the x-axis. So we can see that 2014 is having the most number of attacks, followed by 2015, and so on. So in the next we are finding the terrorist activity by region in each year. So in y-axis there is number of attacks, and in x-axis there is a year. So you can see from 1970 there is a gradual increase in the terrorist activities in the region. In after 2010 in the decade, so there is a increase in this region, which is the Middle East and North Africa. You can see there is a huge spike over here, followed by the South Asia, and then there is Sub-Saharan Africa, and then there is Australasia and Oceania, and then there is other regions of South Asia. So we are counting the attacks in each country, like how many attacks has been in this country, and then there is group value counts, Tibetan Islamic, so there is count, and then there is top countries affected charts, which is a count and countries. So Iraq is having Iraq is the most affected country, and the least affected is Turkey, and we are calculating the people who died during the attack. So the number of people killed is in this y-axis, and here is in x-axis. You can see 2014 has had the most number of kills, and followed by 2015. So there's more people died in the attack in that year. And then we are calculating the top 10 most affected city. So here the number of attacks, and which is the city which is most attacked. So you can see this city is unknown because there is most number of attacks which is unknown, and then there is Istanbul, which is the least attacked, and the name of the attack type is displayed over here, which is bombing or explosion, which is the most type of attack used, and there is a number of killed which is shown in this graph with number of people in the y-axis and attack type in x-axis, which shows that the armed assault and bombing and explosion has killed most number of people, and least number of people killed is in unarmed assault. And in the graph of number of wounded, so you can see that bombing and explosion has caused most number of wounded people, followed by armed assault, and the least is the infrastructure attack or hostage taking. So in this next graph we can see the attack per year. We can see that private citizens and property has have more number of attacks, and the least number of attacks is abortion related. So here we can see the top 10 group of terrorists who attacked. So first number comes in Taliban, and the least number of attacks come in Kurdish Workers' Party, PKK. So in the next graph we see top 10 terrorist group attacks, the number of killed people, and the terrorist group name. So we see that Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL, which is number of terrorist group attacked, and Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, FARC, is the least number of group attacked. So here we are going to group the terrorist group and the country which they belong and the kills which they have had. We see that Islamic State of Iraq and Levant as having the most kills, 31,000, and the least is TBP, Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan, which is having 6,014 kills. Then we are calculating the number of people killed by terrorist attack, which is 4,11,868 people, and then we are calculating the kills which are by the different types of attacks. So we can see that armed assault is having most number, and followed by the least, which is unarmed assault. So we are having the kills which is most in Afghanistan and least in Vietnam and Western Sahara. So the conclusion and results drawn is the country with most number of attacks is Iraq, and city with most attacked is Baghdad, and the region with most attacks is Middle East and North Africa, and the year with most attacked is 2014. The month which is most attacked is 5, which is May, and the group is Taliban, and the attack type is bombing and explosion.